Due to this being an open beta, I will not be commenting on the balance or the connection issues in the game. Also, I would warn you that if you're looking for a historically accurate game, this is not it. This is a game that took the most culturally stereotypical aspects of the three warriors and is no way based on accuracy of the respective cultures. This being said, it still looks awesome. Not wanting to take credit for skill that is not my own, if the hero being played isn't my conqueror, then it isn't me playing. I have bought the finished product myself, but will do my best to keep this review objective. It is worth it for me, but that does not mean it is worth it for you. For Honor is a third-person melee combat game with MOBA and FPS elements. The open beta is about to end, so I can imagine most people are here debating whether or not to buy the game. During this review, I'm going to talk about what the devs wanted to make and what they got. The level system, both in-game and in menu, the equipment, the map, and the way the game itself plays. Now let's start with what the developers said they wanted. They wanted a gritty, fast-paced medieval combat game with a taste for realistic combat. They wanted you to feel the power and force of the weapons and the heroes. Now for the most part they got that. I'll touch on that in the conclusion. With that being said, let's move to the combat itself. This combat is in no way realistic, but it does feel powerful. When you hit someone with a heavy attack, they look and act like it. The way it works is that there are two modes, movement mode and combat mode. During movement mode, your mouse or thumbstick is used to control the camera to better control movement, and there are few attacks any hero can make. When you see an enemy, you can enter attack mode, and then your camera is locked, and your mouse or thumbstick controls what direction you attack and block from. Every hero has combos they can play off in a number of micro passives that make every hero feel more unique and gives the combat a good amount of depth. You can also customize the abilities of your hero to further specialize them to not just the role they were made to fill, but the role you want them to fill. I have heard some criticism that the tanks do too much damage and the assassins are too tanky. I flatly disagree with this, as the devs don't seem to want to make a meta like in League of Legends or Dota. They don't want to have a support, tank, DPS, etc. They want to have every hero feel powerful and playable in most situations. There are some problems with these things though. The micro-passives tend to be poorly described and hard to understand. Some heroes have combos and moves that seem a bit too powerful, but there is always a potential to counterplay for nearly all of these, and you aren't ever locked into a defeat. I've also heard a lot of people talking about how they wish teaming up, 2v1, 4v1, shouldn't be allowed. I flatly disagree with this because not only would it make the game far too restrictive, forcing a potential of 3 people just waiting around, it also defeats the namesake of the game, For Honor. The devs put in a few features to help with being outnumbered though, such as when an enemy is to your left, all their attacks can be blocked by blocking to the left, and vice versa for the right. You also get revenge points for blocking, attacking, and taking damage. Revenge gives you a boost to attack, defense, temporary HP, as well as knocking back anyone currently attacking you. The bar drains quickly though, so it's hardly ever an option in duels, and most of the time it still isn't enough to kill even 2 people. You need to be very skilled to take on multiple opponents. I'll show 2 clips of a failed 1v4 and a successful 2v1.
You're like Tom Cruise in Last Samurai.
Ah, it's always the end. And this bitch is so jumpy. Both looked pretty cool and a decent amount of skill was displayed, but the more people you fight, the skill required becomes exponential. Now let's talk about hero customization. This will come in 4 parts, starting with levels, abilities, equipment, and cosmetics. There are 2 different sets of levels. Let's call them menu levels and in-game levels. As you play, you complete matches and get XP and steel. XP levels you up outside of the main game, and steel is essentially money spent on equipments and emotes. Menu levels give you access to new abilities and cosmetic options, in-game levels work like MOBA levels, and you get them as you play in every game. There are 5 levels in total, and each level unlocks the corresponding ability. When you get to level 21, you go to Reputation 1 and restart your levels, keeping everything you've unlocked and so on every 21 levels. In my opinion, in-game XP gains should be boosted because I rarely get to level 5, and this cuts out some of the coolest abilities most of the time. Now for abilities, these are pretty standard. Every hero has 3 abilities and a passive, and every one of those have 2 alternatives. Some are passives and other activatables. Some heroes do share abilities. Equipment is not only cosmetic, but changes some stats for your hero. Attack, defense, revenge mode duration, throw distance, etc. You gain equipment from loot after battles, or from crates you can buy with steel, allowing even more in-depth customization. Most of it looks good, and has a real impact on gameplay, but not so much to turn your hero into a killing machine. Equipment itself has levels that makes it somewhat more effective. At Reputation 1, you start getting level 7 blue equipment and purple gear at Reputation level 2. Gear has trade-offs as well, so it boosts one thing but may damage another. Now for customization options, which are vast and do what you'd expect. It is worth pointing out that different heroes have specific options and ornaments worn in their helmet, so it's nice to see that some extra effort was put in and not just copy-pasted options. There are different colors, patterns, engravings, and emotes to make your hero feel even more like what you want them to be. In the full release there will be 3 more heroes and a campaign. Let's be honest, most of us are here for the multiplayer, and having a campaign is a nice addition, but I don't have high hopes for the writing. There is also a continent-wide faction war going on, with zones of control showing what the respective factions own. I don't really know why you'd bother interacting with it much, as the only thing you can do is assign your war contributions to some zones, and it isn't even defined what that even does. The whole thing feels a bit gimmicky, and I wish they had put more effort into thinking about how the players can interact with the map and getting feedback on the effect they have on the actual war. The last subject we're going to be talking about will be maps and game modes. There are 6 maps, 3 domination and 3 elimination maps. The maps themselves have 4 different weather types: clear, snowy, foggy, and rainy, and change slightly depending on what faction controls the area you are fighting in. But you don't get to choose the area, so it seems mostly random. The 4 game modes are Domination, Elimination, Brawl, and Duel. Domination is a 4v4 point capture game mode where the players fight for control over A, B, and C, with the twist being that point B can only be controlled when your AI soldiers completely control it, sort of like a tug of war. When the game is nearly finished, you have an event happen called Breaking, where the winning team has to eliminate the enemy heroes before the enemy take back a point, and lasts long enough for the soldiers to regain morale, giving quite a bit of comeback potential, with respawning for the enemy is also disabled during this event. Elimination is a 4v4 deathmatch, with the twist being power-ups around the map: damage, defense, speed, and healing. The power-ups have had mixed reviews, and I'm not decided on them yet. Brawl is a 2v2 version of Elimination, and Duel is a duel. One-on-one, no power-ups, and a walled-up map to keep people close. As I said at the start, the game is mostly what the devs wanted. Its combat is fast-paced and exciting, with a lot of depth to keep you learning and rewarding you with satisfying kill animations and a feeling of badassery for learning the game and playing well. It's very skill-based, with tactics like spamming only being viable against unskilled players. The historic accuracy of the cultures and the combat being replaced with awesome but comparatively ridiculous alternatives. I will say that I wish they put less time into level ups and cosmetic options and put more time into maps, specifically the factional. For me, all this sold the game. I played it for over 25 hours and still have a lot to learn and still have a good time just playing. Also, if this game video gets 25 likes, I'll let my girlfriend do my makeup and record it. Normally I wouldn't ask for likes, but she's been bugging me for like weeks, so I might as well get something out of it. Plus we all know it's gonna be fucking hilarious. That's it. Have a nice day, and may your enemy's blood taste sweet from their skull.